Alright guys, it's Sunday and I just thought I'd talk about Trump today. I'm going to keep this quite quick and crisp, which is hard for me. This is day 5 after the assassination attempt. There's been a lot of rhetoric around this may get overplayed by Trump for the election when he's pretty much already got it in the bag. I sit there and I sort of go, what are you talking about? Firstly, Trump didn't say anything for 4 days. What what's happened, in my perspective, is it isn't an assassination on Trump in the context that many people assume it's just one thing. It's an attack on democracy. Now, I've got to admit, you probably know, with the UK, I classify it as democracy because it's so riddled with corruption. Everything's just disgusted and don't want anything to do with it anymore. There's not a leader rising up. Farage is not my leader. The whole thing around Farage getting into the politics for me is actually hoping there's a bit of disruption there. He's not somebody who could change the country. He's not somebody that will change the politics forever in the UK. It's a glimmer of hope of change. That's it. But back onto Trump. For me, Trump keeping quiet for a few days makes a massive difference. What he's done is allowed the troops to rally. Now, what do I mean with that? Well, the first thing is, a lot of the negative left things have been vile, and I will be honest, it's vile, the opinions and stuff. The stuff that come out with the Tenacious D and stuff, and now they're basically cancelled, etc. It highlighted how vile these people are. But on top of that, keeping quiet, the troops rallied. The troops rallied meant that Trump doesn't have to say a thing. You get all your media push from people coming to defend on the right. You know, you're getting people coming out and saying about the failures of the security services. You've got people going about how does this happen, the relation, how does this relate to the government, blah, blah, blah. Trump's not had to say a word. It's also rallied some big supporters. You're seeing the shift with Mark Zuckerberg. You're seeing the push from Elon Musk. You're seeing people coming out of the woodwork in support. That is not about just Trump. I'd say it's more to do with democracy. That people are seeing the threat to democracy is underway. Now, once you've lost democracy, try getting it back. It doesn't come back through conversations. In this moment, there's been a few pinnacle things that come out there. You've seen the photograph where Trump's on the ground, the blood dripping. That gave not only a photo opportunity that's going to ring in history, it showed that he was nearly beating him down. Then when he stood up and you got the fist in the air, that shows defiance. That shows that he's willing to die to make things happen. It shows humility. It shows he's going to go as far as it takes to make America better. At the right side, that rallies massive support anyway. But it's took a lot of people from different demographics that may have not been voting, may have just been sitting on the fence, not interested in politics, whatever it is. They've seen an attempted assassination on a previous president who's running for current presidency, and their moods have shifted. The mentality's changed. They may be investigating more stuff themselves. And say investigating, people say do your research, There's been so much negative stuff. I would say it needs more than just research. I think you need to investigate and then start to understand. And I think a lot of people have been doing this, that's why I was using the word, is you start to realize how many lies were used on Trump, how much fabrication and other manipulations have occurred. And this is why that becomes an attack on democracy, because they've used everything available to try and destroy him. But what you've seen is when Trump come out as well, it wasn't about Trump. Because you could see from the way he was his presentation was, his you know, his demeanor, etc., was from a humbling perspective. He survived an attack. He honoured the guy that died, the fireman, well, retired fireman, but I explained to my wife yesterday that retire early because of job role, etc. So you got that. Then you got him talking about the other people that died, and the fact that he said, "I'll only bring this up once." Doesn't want to go through it again. It made him human. It made him respectful of the people that died. It made him have humility and not give the left an opportunity to say that he's using this as an opportunity to rise up. He's using this because this is the problem with the left. They're like that, always whinging. Don't matter what the hell you do, they're always moaning. He actually didn't take any of the big opportunities he had there to use it. He actually did it in a respectful way, which defuses everything from the left. And I don't think it is even intentional. It may be, because let's face it, they all have advisors. 5 votes this way and 7 that, if you do this and do that. But at the same time, his reaching out was to actually say thank you to the Secret Service, when all, you know, a lot of the media from the right side are looking at the diversity, inclusive, you know, I mess this up every time. Diversity, equality, and inclusive. Yeah, DEI. Like I said, I always mess that up because I go diversity, equality, incompetence, and that's why I always mess up the I. And you can see it. There's your failing for the DEI. There it in your face. You got an embarrassment. This is Biden. Biden has appointed somebody that used to run Pepsi Cola. I don't even know what she was doing in Pepsi Cola. She might be doing security. I'm not going to knock her that way. And to be fair, in some countries, because of the kidnappings and stuff, I do get that she may have been doing something. But if she did know what she was doing, and you don't see the same security level at Biden's, I just leave that door open, because Trump had a lot of little people there, and those little people were probably the same height as me. But let's face it, if I was in that position, I don't want short people. I want big people. I want people that have got experience, firearms experience. I want people that are probably ex-services, people that are homed in. You know, like if you see people that are in specific environments, they're pumped up for it. Where other people run and cower or whatever, they're pumped for it. They run to it. They love it. And it sounds wrong, but at the same time, that's the people you want. Not the ones that are overhyped. The overhyped ones, they're the people that get other people killed. But the ones that are actually, when it happens, they change instantly. The adrenaline is pumping, the mentality is pumping. They're there to protect you. They don't think about it, they do it. And then you got these other people that are like, what the hell are you doing? For me, I was so tempted to do an edit with the Minions, but I'm not going to do that. It's tasteless. But it just kept going through my head. These people just don't even look like it. It looked like a bad comedy sketch. It's disgusting. No, sorry, and I don't blame them. This is an important bit. I do not blame them. They did not give themselves those jobs. They applied for jobs and were given those purely because they were women. Now, they may even be like that, you know, where you're like, I don't really want to take the job, but I've been offered it and I might get knocked back if I don't take it. They've been pushed into these roles. And you go in there, you can imagine being around having a coffee with these guys. And so you're standing there with your coffee. All right, guys, how are you guys doing? Yeah, everyone around you is about a foot and a half taller and bigger. Yeah, yeah, so I'm not knocking them, and this is the thing with Trump. He didn't knock them either, and this is the important factors in this. He had a massive opportunity there to bash Biden and his appointee, because it was Biden appointed the head of the security services. But at the same time, he didn't. He focused on the people that had lost their lives. He focused on the fact he didn't want to talk about it more than once because it was, well, it's obviously been a life-changing experience for him. And he moved on. But it didn't mean the others didn't. You look at Tucker, he wasn't so subtle. Was it Tucker Carlson? He was in there. And then you start getting all the other people that have now rallied around Trump actually coming out and carrying the flag. I mean, well, literally in some cases you've got the kids that protected the flag against those pro-Palestinian, you know, they're protecting the American flag against pro-Palestinian students. I'm not even getting into those people. So the point being is, he didn't need to say anything, so he didn't. What you've got now, though, is because he didn't say anything, you got other people rallying to say things. You got the big dissection of what actually occurred, what happened, how the guy got on the roof, you know, the fact that he walked for a mile. I'll say allegedly, because of I will say allegedly on all of this. Everything's alleged, because obviously I'm trying to keep this in YouTube. But allegedly, he was found with a rangefinder earlier in the day. If you don't know what a rangefinder is, it's literally a rangefinder for the distance, so you can work out, well, how far you're shooting, for example. It could be a measuring device for measuring a room, but I don't think that's what he was doing. He walked for a mile through the woodland with a ladder, allegedly, climbed up on the roof, allegedly, but he was also seen walking around trying to find access to the roofs before he even did that, allegedly. And then you talk to like different security people who come out, and they're just completely gobsmacked and confounded about what the hell went on, because where were the drones? Where was the security just standing on the other rooftops? And as I'm trying to think who was talking about it. Slipped my mind at the minute, but it's on about when it goes to London. You know, when he was there previously. You don't travel with about, was it 12 people or something stupid? He was traveling with about 400 security. So some things, you know, whether it's budget cuts, I was going to say budget cuts, my whatever, but I don't want it affecting my YouTube. There's no real understanding of this stuff. And then people were talking about at the conference with Trump, he had a lot more security. And there was, I think it was I was speaking to, I'm not sure it was my wife or I was speaking to Arif or somebody. But I said, yeah, but bearing in mind, these are closed events. So it may be a case of inside there, you've got a lot more security because it's yours. Because bear in mind, being out on the field where he was in Pennsylvania, he may not be able to have all the gun permits and stuff, etc. required, where inside a building or a stadium, you may be able to get closed, permits for all your security staff and have private staff there. So it may not be nothing to do with the security that was provided by the Secret Service, and more to do with it. The private security firms have now stepped up. But I don't think anybody's mentioned that yet. You'll see that. That'll probably come out in the next couple of weeks. That's what I would have expected. That in a conference environment, there'll probably be at least 150 security related to the building. So for me, the demographics are changing, the views are changing, the politics is changing. People like myself didn't really stand out too much previously, and I've got to admit, I'm not American. It's just that recently, the embarrassment of the UK and its politics, I've took zero interest in the UK now, because it's in such a state on the political arena. I've just got to sit and watch the current government crumble when they start all their infighting, and because they come up, I always find Labour weird because they don't. It's almost like they don't have anybody who understands finance. In my personal opinion, that's my thoughts. Is they don't think about money. They just come out with a shopping list and go, right, just go and buy it. Who's got the money? For me, that's what irritates me about them. But anyway, back to Trump. Trump winning the next election will affect UK politics. His relationship with Farage is a good one. I don't think Farage is in a position to make much change. The reason I like Farage getting into the parliament is he makes noise. Because if you look at the rest, red or blue, they're exactly the same these days. So actually having somebody there that says a lot and can actually ask the right questions or ridicule them in public, I'm all for that. I despise these people. They're little tin gods, a lot of them. They're not good people. So having what's his name? Trump wins the election. He's going to be dealing with this guy that's anti-Trump and woke. And these first things when he got elected was, I'm the first black person that's there. Oh, shut up. Just do your job. I don't go to work and go, I'm the first white person to do it. It's like, I'll just go to work, mate. People are sick and tired of being the first of everything. It's boring. And ultimately, a lot of this stuff may not actually be true anyway. You know, it's a bit like, you didn't see Freddie Mercury say, I'm the first gay man to do whatever. No, he was just gay and did great music. The gay bit had nothing to do with his music beyond maybe his abilities for stage presence. But anyway, going off on tangent. Trump's going to make some massive changes. I think the left have got to be very careful, because if you're in a position where you're quiet, that's when you worry about your enemies. Because if your enemy is quiet, your enemy's preparing, you know what direction they're going, they're not riled up, they're not focused on you in any way you can see, doesn't mean they're not doing it. It means they're calculating, it means that they're preparing. Even in, you know, it's from a personal point of view, learn that tactic in business. The best argument to have in any room is to say nothing. Okay, I'll take that away. I'll look into that. Okay, that may be your opinion. Because, I mean, saying that, even that may be your opinion. You don't have to give yours. And a lot of the time, it will be something where people are trying to manipulate you, trying to create an argument. But at the same time, every time you respond when you're aggressive or angry or whatever, you're giving stuff away. Your thoughts of, well, you know, I'm going to quit, I hate it. Oh, you're going to quit. Okay, fine. I know where you're going now. I'll start advertising your job. Say nothing. They have no idea what you're doing. Trump is saying nothing. Nothing negative. Paying homage to the people that died. Massive positive for him. And I don't mean that trying to make that in a bad thing. Because the fact is, he took that moment to give respect to the people that didn't, you know, the guy that died, the other people that were injured, and he's humbled. He's been taken down a peg, Because what you've also had is, he would have been knocked down anyway. This sort of stuff is life-changing generally. But what you've had is when he's taken down, everybody sees him as more human. And the more human you are, the more likely you're going to get votes. The more likely people are going to respect you. The more likely people come to your side. And he's got all that in his favour right now. I mean, it's like you're hearing with a lot of the black people are starting to support Trump that may have not voted, may not have been interested before, but he's now seen by a lot of people as being downtrodden, attacked. That picture where he's bloody on the floor, where it's dripping down his face, you know, where he could obviously have been shot in the ear, he's laid down there, taken a picture taken through the legs, or you know, obviously a journalist was at eye level. That's like you're beaten, you're down, and then he stands up and, you know, fight, fight, fight. That takes him to a whole new level. That's moving into God mode. That's where you're taking somebody that was nearly out, gone, finished, to I'll do whatever it takes to make America great. That shows somebody trying to kill him. What does he do? Brushes himself off, gets back up, and shouts to the crowd. The other bit that was important in his speech, as he said, those people didn't run. The crowd, they're actually looking for the shooter, waiting for him to get back up, because they thought he was dead. That shows the strength in the people. Now, there's two sides to that. Firstly, their support for Trump is like almost devout, in the sense of he has been pushed to a point where they may have just been the next president and I vote for him and everything else. But in that moment, that's a rally of the flag moment. That's where this guy is standing for you. From Trump's point of view, he looked out, he's beaten, may have wanted to stay down, but he looks out, they haven't abandoned him. They're still there. So his response is, get up, carry on. These people are with you. These are very, very historic moments. These are going to define, I can see this defining American history. They'll be talking about this for years, because I cannot see Trump losing the election. What I can see is the demographic votes for the black communities and other communities will be growing. There will be a lot of a detestful hate coming out of places like California. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to make any difference anymore. I think too many people have woken up. Too many people. Because people say, oh, the right have woken up. Stop saying that. It's not the right have woken up. The majority have woken up. The majority of people are not right. When I say not right, I'm not meaning not right. I'm meaning they're not right wing. Most people just want an easy life. Most people just want to be able to come home, not worry about the house being robbed, being in bad neighborhoods, wanting to know that they've got a job. They want to go through life without hate, complexities of deciding they, them, and all the other stuff that's going on. When people have already got enough problems on their plate without having to deal with the outer spectrums of society trying to dictate for the majority. There was a lot of changes coming up, and that's another key thing that Trump did, is his push for bringing people together. Because let's face it, it's not just the US. The whole of Europe is divided. The whole of well, a lot of the world is divided. The left have caused so much chaos globally now. It's going to be interesting what happens next, because once Trump gets in, I can see a lot of positive changes coming. And I think it's going to have a ripple effect. Dave Lammy, that's the guy from the UK, the foreign minister, who's tweeted how much, some really negative stuff about Trump. I want that, but if Donald Trump's listening, record your first meeting with that guy. Because either he's going to be a pompous and arrogant idiot, or he's going to have to eat humble pie. Either way, it should be an interesting interview. But yeah, I've got to admit, I support Trump now. I wasn't against or for him previously, but I support him now because it's been an attack on democracy. And I can see the ripple effects of the US ripples through Europe, UK. It does, really does. Like I just mentioned with David Lammy. David Lammy is an absolute clown as far as I'm concerned. And you can look up the stuff he gets up to, but I've got to admit, I'm just embarrassed for the UK government generally. But you just look at the top 5 people in the British cabinet, and you can sit and go, which one of you guys has had a job before? I can't actually tell you. I don't think any of them have. I was literally trying to think of a job that one of them's had, and they haven't. But anyway, that's enough. But yeah, Trump's pretty much got it in the bag, unless they do something crazy, which I don't think is coming. I think, quite simply, Trump just needs to keep it on an even keel. I think the fact that he's got Zuckerberg coming out, you got Musk coming to one side, you get a few more billionaires and stuff on your side, I don't think you need much more. Especially those two of the biggest media, collectives on the media. You got X, Twitter, and you got Facebook. You're controlling a big arena there. And this is just the start. It's still about, what, 110 days or whatever left? It's pumping up. It's not going to go down. It's going to get pumped up. And people, like I said, it's not just about Trump anymore. It's about democracy. That's what shifted. Thanks for watching.